Rome is in the top 5 for number of students in foster care.
And so these children are going through a lot of pain, taken out of their home, taken out of their school, taken out of their community.
There's a cycle that will continue to happen and be repeated over and over and over if we don't do something to break that cycle.
Just hearing some of the stories that the coaches shared about the terrible things that these students have gone through just broke my heart.
You realise for some of them, they can't see anything beyond the next month or the next year. And an emotional challenge is trying to lift their sights beyond the here and now to years beyond, and even from a Christian perspective, for eternity.
Camp Discover is a camp where students out of the foster system, foster or adoptive students, have this made available to them so that they can have the opportunity to have an experience at a camp, primarily to lead them into a mentor relationship with somebody who's going to love on them and care for them and display to them the love of Christ, and an opportunity to have a relationship, a positive relationship with somebody else outside of their normal family unit. This camp is specifically designed for them to be able to conquer some of their issues. Some of these students have trust issues. They've been abused or neglected. And in that environment, they have a hard time developing trust.
They tend to be really closed off, real tough, not wanting to interact with people, and they're forced to get outside and to do things they may not necessarily want to do, to work with other people they may not want to talk to or associate with.
You feel like you're in a bit of a bubble for the week, and the emotional challenge is are they going to be okay when they get home on Friday nights, Saturday and the following week, when the reality of what is their normal week hits back.
And so providing this experience for them gives them something to build on, to conquer fears. They climb this huge wall. They go over these huge obstacles a long way off the ground, and they conquer their fear. They hang on, they make it, and they experience a measure of success. And it's funny what happens. These kids come off of that wall and they start to develop trust, and they start to develop a sense of self-esteem in a positive sense that they can achieve something. We want to make sure that we are taking the time to know them as individuals.
I want to share my Christian faith with them, and I want to hear their life story so that as I tell them my faith, that it can connect with their lives, and God willing, the gospel can penetrate into their hearts so that they can see the goodness of God.
We want to love them first. We want to build that relationship with them, show them that we care as kind of a stepping stone to telling them about how God's story and how our story connects that, and kind of connect their story to Him.
They get the opportunity to lead a guy on his first rappel. He had tried a couple of times and just scared to death. I got the opportunity to get on the rope right beside him, and I would take little baby steps. He would take baby steps right next to me, and it got to the point to where, he wasn't scared to do it anymore. And he jumped on down and he beat me down the hill.
There was a young man who was very reserved. He was doing a raft race, and the other kids just started to really cheer him on. Kids that probably wouldn't have spoken to him outside of camp otherwise. And from that day on, you could see him start to interact with other people, encourage others when they were going through tough times.
Our goal is to put one coach per 2 to 3 students, so that coach is able to concentrate with them as individuals, so that all through the day they're able to give attention specifically to that kid and not be so far divided. So they come cold and distant, and by the time they leave, they do not want to leave. They love us, we love them, and there has yet to be a camp exit that wasn't tearful. We require an awful lot of volunteer help to just run 1 week of camp, because we want to give them the individual attention. Usually with coach and recreation staff and administrative staff, there's usually one-to-one attention. It costs $250 to send a kid to camp. So for $250, this kid gets their world expanded. Another way you can participate is by being a coach. You listen to their stories, you tell them your story, you build a relationship with them over the week by climbing with them, rappelling with them, swimming with them, and then following them after camp onto their high school campus and continuing the relationship. And so in all of these ways, a person can participate through prayer, through giving, through supplying various supplies, by volunteering their time, and it takes all of that to pull off